People often ask me how to pick the right bride for a second marriage. Well, I'm not an expert at finding the right single woman for a marriage. I got into a bad relationship, and I've seen all kinds of women be mean to their husbands, so I'd rather be careful when choosing a bride for my second marriage. My first piece of advice to anyone looking for a second marriage is to stay away from single moms, single parents, and women's rights activists. Feminists call these women strong women because they are brave enough to raise their children alone. When I was studying the behavior of these possible second-time brides, I noticed that many of them did not want to marry a man who already had a child. It didn't matter to these strong women if the man lived with the child or not. In one of these situations, someone I knew told me the sad story. He was living with his ex-wife and their child after they got divorced, but the women he tried to marry again turned him down because he had a child. Since I had been involved with men's rights groups for a long time, it didn't take me long to figure out that these were the greedy women who didn't care about children. These strong women wanted to make sure that they and their children were the only ones who owned the man's property rights, even though the man was still paying their bills and taking care of them. It was very easy for these women to take advantage of men and use them for their own benefit. So, if you are looking for a second marriage and find that single mothers are coming to you, tell them you have a child, even if you don't. You will know what the woman really wants from her new relationship. When they hear you have a child, many of them will turn their backs on you right away. Feel good that some of these parasites are removed from your life early on. If other women keep coming after you, tell them you want to bring your child to you after your second marriage. This will come as a big surprise to most greedy single women who may have made a lot of money from their first divorce and plan to do the same thing with their second husband. If a woman doesn't love any children except her own, she's not fit to be a good mother, and these tests will tell you if she is a good mother or not. In this marriage, you are looking for a good mother for your future children. If you find a single mother who wants to marry you and agrees that you should bring your child to live with her, it's natural to think that she loves kids and cares about a father's feelings. Find out how often she lets the child's father see the child or how often she sends the child to the father if the child lives with her. If she never lets the child's father meet the child, you will know right away how cruel she is. Most of the time, women who don't let their children meet their real fathers will say that the father is dangerous for the child in many ways. If you are divorced or have been through the process of getting divorced, you know how unfair the family laws are for men. In these situations, it makes sense for a father not to fight for child custody. So it's up to the mother to let the child visit the father or at least show that she tried to keep the father involved with the child but the man didn't want to. When you find out that the man didn't want to keep the child or see the child often, there could be a lot of reasons for that. One shocking reason could be that the child is not his own, but rather the illegitimate child of his second wife. In our legal system, there is no way for a husband to get justice, so he has to take care of his wife's secret children. So, if a husband doesn't want to meet a child, it makes you wonder if the child is his or if he thinks the child was born outside of his marriage and that's why he and his wife split up. Our legal system is so unfair to men that a husband who thinks his wife is cheating on him has no way to prove it. The courts don't make it easy to get a DNA test to prove paternity, and filing a complaint based on a wife's chastity is seen as the cruelest thing that can be done in our legal system. Most of these marriages end in a peaceful divorce, because the man has almost no other choice if he wants to get away from a prostitute. So even if you know that your would-be bride is a single parent and had a mutual consent divorce, MCD, you don't know if she slept around and was looking for a scapegoat in you to keep herself from falling apart. You really don't want her to keep acting dirty when she leaves your house. The only way to find out is to ask your would-be second bride for a DNA paternity test report. Seems too harsh? Certainly. When marriage has become a way to trade property and there is no way to know what a woman has done in the past or what she will do in the future, it is best to give these shocks early in life. When you ask for a DNA test report, most people will turn their backs on you right away. If that's the case, give her another idea. Say you wanted to know the truth and wanted to meet her ex-husband and his family. If it was really a friendly breakup because they didn't get along, as she might have told you, she shouldn't mind you meeting her ex. But most of the time, she won't want you to meet her ex. There is something else you could do. Try to find out how long they had been living apart before they got a divorce, what each side's case was, and so on. Try to figure out why she filed the cases she did and what the next logical step would be. These will tell you how innocent the single mother and your potential bride is. Remember that if she has made up criminal charges against her ex-husband or kept a father from seeing his own child, she is likely to do the same thing to you. So, most likely, you shouldn't let these kinds of women into your life. One thing to remember is that most of the so-called innocent divorcees and single mothers had the law on their side when they got divorced the first time. So, no matter what they did in the past, our legal system would have taken care of it, but it wouldn't have changed who they are. What if she was really innocent and just wanted to save her marriage, but her ex-husband was very mean to her? So, find out what cases she has brought to court and how she has proven her points. There are enough rules in our law to punish a man for no reason, and you know the truth if that didn't happen. In every second marriage case, you should also try to find out what kind of money deal was made. If you think the woman didn't have anything to do with the split, ask her uncomfortable questions about the settlement so the single mom can explain her side. Find out if the money she got, assuming she was not guilty, was fair for what she did for her marriage. Remember that a woman who has extorted a man in the past will always try to do it again because she knows how the law works. Ask the strong single mother why she took money from someone she didn't like to find out why she did it. When she tells you how her ex beat her, remember that your ex tells the same stories to everyone she meets. So get rid of her sad stories and find out what's really going on. Usually, I don't tell young people to get into a relationship without first asking a lot of hard questions. This clears up any misunderstandings about a woman's true character early in life, rather than later, when a man has almost no chance to change his mind. Remember that a single mom has already taken a child away from his or her father. She might do it again, and if she does, you'll be the one to blame. So, it's best to stay away from such a bother in your life. Most of these single moms just want to find a free ATM so they can pay their bills. If you have been hurt by the terrible things that our family courts do to American men, you will understand this.